All right. Welcome back to another unfiltered episode of the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, where bold truth gets aired out and sugarcoating gets no airtime. It's your sis behind the boards, Banath Shalahaya, keeping the engine running. And as always, I'm joined by the dynamic duo, Shir Yashub Judah and Ayo Ben Yahoo, two brothers bringing fire and facts every time. Tonight, we're stepping into the deep end. No fluff, no filter. Today's show is focusing on a topic that is controversial at best, the public unaliving of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Just days ago, he was unalive while speaking at Utah Valley University in front of thousands. Questions and insights on the motive, the Charlie Kirk movement, Christian ties, and individual political and personal stances. That's where we come in. You know how we move, real talk and unapologetic truth. And of course, we've got that signature segment, Beyond Critical Race Theory, or rather transcending essential heritage details with evidence teed up for you.
Well,
so wherever you're posted, car, couch, or the cut, focus up and guard your spirit. Because once the mic's hot, there's no rewind. This is a Truth Be Told Flex podcast. Let's ride. Brothers, the mic is yours.
Boy, that intro.
What is happening?
More better, more better, more better.
Thank you. All praises to the Most High.
I was telling her the other day that her addition to the show, in my opinion, has been great.
Man.
I didn't know how it was going to work. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how it was going to work. I knew I wanted a female voice on the show. Did not necessarily know it was going to be my wife, but all praises that. That she was like, hey, let me take a shot at it, man. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And she has been, to me, in my opinion, she has been wonderful and a wonderful addition to this show. So, but not, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. I definitely look forward to it. I missed it last week. I'm glad you guys took a break. Yeah. I was like, what are they gonna do? How am I gonna listen?
we'd have been without Banath steering the wheel. We'd have been on the head at 1:30 in the morning.
Right, just rambling.
Cause look, what we talking about tonight had just happened.
It happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 hours earlier before it was time to go on. So yeah, we do.
It did. I want to make a statement though before, but not even get into the talk amongst yourself, and before we get into the show, before we get started on the show today, I do want to make something clear that we are going to talk about Charlie Kirk, but listen to what I'm about to say. Charlie Kirk himself was not the problem, and Charlie Kirk did not create his own platform. Somebody gave that platform to Charlie Kirk, right? And whoever gave the platform to Charlie Kirk, that's the problem, right? The same thing it is with Trump. We say that Trump is the problem. Trump is not the problem. Trump did not give himself the authority. Somebody gave him that authority, and whoever gave it to him, that is the problem. We fuss about the economy as well. And the economy is not the problem. Whoever controls the economy is the problem. Let's take this back to Revelation chapter 13, Ayob, where it says that the dragon gave the beast his power and his seat and his great authority. So we need to get to the root. And the reason I say we need to get to the root, and all praises for Ayob, because he brought something back to my remembrance today that I had put in a shelf somewhere. When you look at media and you read articles and we get so caught up, all we hear is problems. Nobody talk about real solutions. And if you do talk about real solutions, then you get excommunicated. Charlie Kirk was a problem. Trump was a problem, but they are not the problem. Whomever put these people in these positions is the root of the problem. So because we always talk about the agenda, we forget that the agenda is to keep all of us people that's down here on this lower level to be fighting against each other, man. Right. So while we fighting against each other, we distracted. What are they doing? They are benefiting from the distraction.
They win.
Exactly. So let's be clear. Yes, we're going to be talking about Charlie Clerk tonight, but understand Charlie Clerk only did what he was allowed to do. So what is ever said tonight on this show, remember that Charlie Kirk was not the problem. He was just a small fish in a big pond.
Bro,
he was used as a weapon. So I just want to make that clear tonight.
And to land back real quick before we jump into it, the knife just came across the wire. To land back off what she is saying, it just came across the wire that Jimmy Kimmel show was suspended.
Exactly.
Indefinitely.
That means to Jimmy Kimmel suspended to further notice.
Right.
With as many viewers and as much money with as many viewers at that time of night that they bring in every week. Again, it ain't about Charlie Kirk. That's what he said in the preface. Y'all look me. And this is what media outlets the propaganda is not saying. It's beyond him. It's not even really it's Jimmy Kimmel got suspended, y'all. That's
that's big.
That's big.
And Jimmy can talk about everybody.
Before we get into that, let's knock out some of this other stuff, and then I'm gonna give y'all the floor to do what we came to do. So before we dive into our main topic, we're gonna wade in some other topics for a bit and talk amongst yourselves. So tonight we've also got to touch on the story of Iryana Zarsuka, the young lady who boarded a train, sat down across from DeCarlos Brown Jr., and within minutes he pulled out a knife and fatally unalived her. So it's important to note that Mr. Brown was also a known schizophrenic, which complicates how we understand this tragedy. Now, here's where the conversation has turned. While everybody is focusing on what happened to her and what should have been done and how she was not protected and nobody jumped in for her, here's where I want to go. There's a young woman on that same train who chose not to intervene, and people online dragged her for it. But let's be real. She chose life. She chose her life. She had every right to protect herself. She didn't know the situation. She was unarmed and she was scared. To expect her to jump in is unfair. The backlash she's receiving says more about our expectations than it does about her actions. But here's the heavier layer. Some are already framing this as racial, asking whether this is just an isolated tragedy or if it's another piece of evidence that a race war is brewing in America. Is that a fair question? Or is it the media and social platforms stirring division? That's what we need to unpack tonight. Let's unpack that.
Propaganda. They trying to stir this thing up. I think what something like the baby did yesterday, the baby, the rapper artist from Charlotte, from my hometown, Kannapolis, Concord, Charlotte area, he did a visual. He made a song, a rap song, hip hop song, dope, and did a visual. He was on the train talking about it. And from what I understood, he set up a GoFundMe for her and her family, which, to land back and to answer Banaf's question, in his skin, that's smart because it kind of quells the fires of what the media is putting out. Because again, do they want a civil war / race war? Again, who is the lawless one and how will he be revealed when you're talking about what the word says about the lawless one, the man of violence? And to me, it's, even though it's about us, it's all they want to do is unalive. And I know we can't say the K word with the ILL because, you know, the algorithm, but that's all they want to do. So yes, I think it's in the media's eyes, and somebody like the baby, who is, I don't know if he know he's Israelite, I don't know, but being semi-woke, he is like, all right, with me being from the city, riding that same train that she got unalived on, let me put out a song to kind of say, hey, let's come together, which was smart because he knows, as Banaf just asked, he knows how the mainstream media is spinning this thing. He know how they doing. Then what we're going to talk about later, on top of that, again, these folks just want violence. All they want to do is KILL. You seen these reactions? Dudes on crying, spitting, red. You see what you got? This rage is coming out. So yes, to answer your question, in my opinion, in my take, the spin on this thing, yes, they want a war, whatever war it is. The war on social media is crazy. They want it out in the streets. Yes, this is what they want. And the propaganda is spinning. Now, my heart goes out to that young lady, her and her family. Again, the backlash that the young lady is catching, it's unfortunate because any one of us, we've been saying gas station, stoplight, anything could happen and you don't help because you're not thinking in that moment. And somebody got a video of you on the phone driving off. And then all of a sudden now that's circulating on social media of you driving off at the stoplight. And you really, it ain't the fact that you didn't want to help, like, but I'm saying you chose life. I got a family to take care of. I didn't necessarily want to step in. So yeah, my heart goes out to the young lady that got alive, the young man, that the assailant. From what he had some mental issues, him and his family as well. Like everybody that was on that train that had to witness that. Those are traumas that nobody wants to talk about. So I yield. But yes, to answer your question, I think the media is propaganda spinning it to start something. So
yeah, most definitely, man. They have been. You got a grizzly bear on this side and a polar bear on this side. And what they are doing is they've been poking the grizzly bear, getting him riled up. But the polar bear ain't been paying attention because the polar bear trying to catch seals. You know what I'm saying? You worried about the seals. And then they's like, look, if we really want to fight, we got to get this polar bear up in here as well. So now they done start poking the polar bear. All that to say what they're doing is, we said it on this show, time and time again, that they have been trying to get a rise out of us for the longest, and we are not rising, man. We chilling. What did the Bible say about Jacob? He's a tent dweller, and that's all we've been doing. We just been chilling in our feet cocked up. We got our music on. We got our little Jesus juice in the cup, and we chilling. And they like, okay, so if they gonna do that, they gonna act like that, this what we gonna do. Let's get the other group of people riled up. It don't take much to get them riled up, because all they know is hatred. All they know is violence. That's all they know, right? So let's just go ahead and get them riled up. And we get them riled up, we're going to force them, that grizzly bear, to get into this fight. Now, this is the thing. We're talking about Charlie, right? Talking about Charlie. Did y'all know that it was not even mentioned as race until he had something to say about it? This is what he had to say. You got that clip, but not play that clip, that first clip, the Ukrainian clip. Check out Charlie, man. Charlie started this stuff, man.
Looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice, law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
Wow. He said white a lot.
Well, we are.
He said white a lot.
Yeah,
why did he say white a lot? Because it's propaganda. Because we gotta get the polar bear into this fight. We gotta get the polar bear to get the grizzly bear to fight, right? And that's exactly what they're doing. Now, there was a black lady, I failed to remember her name right now. She left the U.S. Why she did this, I don't know, but this is what was reported, and you guys could go look it up. She left the U.S. and went to Russia. When she went to Russia, she was brutally attacked.
Crickets.
Ain't heard nothing.
Ain't heard nothing about it.
Nothing about it. Over here in America, she was an American. You think somebody from over here went over there for rescue? No.
Of course not.
They did not. So yeah, to answer your question, they want civil unrest.
Yeah, that's
what they want. Do they want a full out fight right now? That's what we was talking about. Probably not right now.
just yet. Just yet.
Well,
But they gotta have civil unrest. Go ahead, but not.
well, hold on. So that's the hard truth about the Zerusky case. One tragedy layered with mental health, fear, and the question of whether race is once again being used as fuel for division. But it doesn't stop there. Because while that story played out on a train in New York, down south in Mississippi, two separate and deeply unsettling unalivings are now demanding answers. On the campus of Delta State University in the city of Vicksburg, two men found hanging on the very same day. Different circumstances, different backgrounds, but both raising painful questions about history, justice, truth in America. On the campus of Delta State University, 20-year-old student Trey Reed was found hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts. Preliminary reports show no signs of assault, but his family, and of course they're joined by none other than Ben Crump, obviously is demanding a full investigation. The same day, the body of 35-year-old Corey Zucatis, a homeless man from Brandon, was discovered hanging in a wooded area near Ameristar Casino. Authorities say both cases are under investigation with autopsies pending, and so far there's no evidence linking the two. But the timing, the history of racial violence in Mississippi, and the lack of clear answers have stirred concern and frustrations and the cry for transparency. So obviously we're going to continue to follow the story to see where this goes, and we'll provide updates as we get those on later shows. But these two incidents just happened on the heels of what happened with Charlie Kirk, on the heels of what happened with the young lady on the train. So you tell me, it's brewing. That pot is doing more than simmering right now.
Yeah, they again, they are, I mean, with the way, Hulk Hogan, he was an icon. I loved him when I was little, but over the years, as I got older and I started to work, even after I got a degree, graduated from college, and had credentials, I had skills, and got into the music business, I still saw these type of nuances that they see my skin color. And if they don't necessarily like it, which I'm getting to Hulk Hogan, come to find out later on, he said some disparaging things and used to wrestle with the likes of Booker T and Junkyard Dog. And so saying that to say, whenever we, like I said, we chilling, looking at TV in our tents. Oh, y'all ain't got nothing to say about Hulk Hogan? He was this it. What you want? So since we not crying, laying, rolling on the floor, shouting around, saying he gone, you mad? So now from that all the way to now, to answer your question, this thing is brewing, and they are looking at us to get us to march so bad. And the fact that it's not working, it is itching. Because Willie D had a young lady on his show today that said that there was foul play and she got proof. So
with Trey.
With Trey. So then to come find out there's another. So it's just like, yeah, this thing is heating up. But again, it's like we need to get back to our power and cry out to our power. That's our
solution.
That's the solution.
Solution.
Cry out, Judah, Yahudah. We gotta, because you like very well put, sis. It's heating up to the point to where me and Ak was talking. And I'm a you. Me and Ak was talking yesterday. I was like, and we was all three on the phone. I said, just think 20 years ago, we didn't know we the people of the book, and we didn't know who our power was. Just think. And this was going on. One of us might have went out in these streets and done something crazy. All praises to the Most High that we're woke and we know how to pray and stay like you said yesterday, we're not moved by this because 20 years ago we was getting and finding brothers. It ain't a brother in the hood. This dude was a college student.
Right.
Well, really quick before you jump into your point, I just want to add to this. Think about what happened 5 years ago in this country. And I hate to bring up his name because he is definitely not the representation and the martyr for the so-called black community. But look what happened with George Floyd.
But he's a complete reciprocation of
right,
who
but
we talking about tonight.
Right, but my point though is we did all the marching.
Right.
We did all the fussing and arguing with people online and, you know, going back and forth and unfriending people and being unfriended because of that unrest. And look at where it got us.
Right.
I think more people woke up after that incident and was like, psh, look at what happened.
Yeah, we tired.
Exactly.
I think this is the generation who is not believing no more. It's so sad that we got an older generation out there that's still looking for hope. It's a whole for real older generation out there that's still going to church, that's still praying to the same white Jesus that the slave master prayed to. Me and my daughter was talking about that just the other day. Like when you think about the construct of Christianity and who we talking about tonight based all of his rhetoric on Christianity as well when he taught, right? And when you think about the construct of Christianity, how insane is it, right? The master praying to Jesus and he telling you as the slave to pray to the same Jesus.
How much sense that make?
Now the master praying that you remain a slave while you praying to the Jesus that you get freedom. Make this make sense. Make this make sense. Okay? You're not going to make any sense out of it, right? That's white Jesus. That's Christianity. That's propaganda. That's a delusion. This is why we got to come up out of this stuff. This is why we got to get back to what the ox said. We got to get back to our power. Because if we don't get back to our power, you know what we going to be doing, but not then we going to be running in circles. Dun, dun, dun. That's what we gonna be doing. So now we got this generation out here, right? Ain't like, look, man, we look back in history. These white folks done told us they gonna this go all the way back to what we remember the most. 40 acres and a mule, ain't got it. Civil liberties and rights, ain't got it. Land, ain't got it. White education ain't got it. So George Floyd get murdered on broad TV in front of everybody. They tell him it's not going to happen anymore, guys. We're going to take care of you. We're going to put in laws and we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And right after he got killed.
Breonna Taylor. Was it Breonna Taylor?
Ain't nothing happened. So they like, man, what I'm finna get out in these streets for? Why? And this is the thing to get me with Trey and the other guy. If I'm not mistaken, I think that other guy might have been white, but not. If you don't mind, could you look that up? That other guy, I think he might have been white. The guy that got hung, the second guy, the
woods that they found in the woods.
Yeah, the one that they found in the woods. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, your mic messed up. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Is that better? You good? Okay, cool. How is it? I need one of y'all or anybody that's in Truth Be Told Flex Podcast City tonight that's in here with us. When was the last time one of us was found hanging and somebody got convicted for murder?
He was white.
He was white? I thought he was.
Yeah, see.
Let's see if his is ruled a homicide or a suicide when it's all done and said.
No foul play. Let's see if they determine what happened.
Let's go back to what the Ock was saying. He heard it on Willie D. I heard it somewhere else. They say that boy Trey had broken arms, broken legs. He was bruised all over his body. He was beat up.
He did that all himself.
He did all of that himself.
I don't even like, and the fact that they got the audacity to say, "Oh, no foul play," like we like we're not gonna find out. Okay, he had 2 broken arms, 2 broken legs, bruised ribs, broken ribs, fractured neck, and hung. So all of that,
he did all of that himself,
or all happened when the rope broke and he hit the ground. So no foul play.
Come on, man. Nah, they don't want us marching. I hear you saying they want us to march. They don't want us to march. They want us to get mad.
Well, that's what happened when we get mad. Historically,
but see, normally we will march and start burning up our stuff. Yeah. I'm thinking they want us to get mad and start going like the Ox said 20 years ago. What would be done? Oh, y'all remember when Mississippi Burning came out?
Man.
Boy, I couldn't watch. Ooh, right? Yep. That's what they looking for.
That movie still make me mad.
Yep. That's what they're looking for.
That's what they looking for. They don't want us just to march and burn up our stuff. They want us to go looking for them so that they can justify what it is that they trying to do.
Right.
That's what I believe. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
All right, guys. So as previously stated, tonight's show is pretty one topic centered. And because there's a lot to unpack, let's get started. So who was Charlie Kirk? First things first. Let's break down his rise, his influence, and why so many people either admired or despised him. So he co-founded Turning Point USA in 2012, which was a response to the young people who were liberals that were voting for Barack Obama, right? That was their reciprocation of that call because they needed to replace, who was it? Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
Because that's who the Republicans had at the time. So this happened when he was about 18 with the goal of organizing conservative student activists and promoting conservative values on college campuses specifically. He was involved in various related organizations, Turning Point Action, Turning Point Faith, etc. He became a major figure in the conservative youth movement, especially among college students, using campus debates, social media, podcasts, and public speaking. He allied himself closely with Donald Trump, supporting MAGA-style politics, and was considered very effective at mobilizing young conservative voters. He had something called a professor watch list, which was essentially created to so-called expose professors he deemed as leftists with bias. So, when did you guys first learn about who Charlie Kirk was? Like, truly who Charlie Kirk was? When did you first get introduced to Charlie?
Last week, 7 days ago, like really who he was. I've been seeing him move around for a minute, but I never was really that interested in him that I just wanted to know who the guy was. I just thought he was just So it was just last week when I actually started digging into who he was as a person. Myself. He be up on stuff like that, so I'm sure he probably knew.
Yeah. Well, I really knew the last couple years, cause like me and Ock talk all the time, being in politics, and I used to be on Twitter and debate with a lot of those MAGA folks back in 2016. I had to get off Twitter because I retweeted something and I was all day, 60, 70 tweets later, just weighing MAGA folks out. And so I've been new about Charlie, but the past 6 to 8 months is when I seen that rhetoric kind of really started to amplify. It was building. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen the talking points about the Black fathers and the DEI hires, that those and like we were saying earlier, those sound bites. Oh, Ketanji Jackson and Joy Reid and Michelle Obama, they're all DEI hires. That sound bite went viral. Oh, if I get on the plane and I see a black pallet, I'm like, oh, should I get on this plane? This must be a DEI hire. Can he really fly the plane? That soundbite. So within the last 8 months, those sound bites started going real viral. So that's when I was like, let me check this dude out. Then when I seen him attached to Candace Owens and Blumenthal and Nick Fuentes and Officer Tatum, I was like, oh, okay. I said, okay, I see what they're doing. And then Pastor, what is his name? Before real quick, I can't remember. He was a conservative, and IUIC helped him come into the truth, and he is now the truth. He used to be a conservative talk point with them guys, but he is now.
You talking about the bright dude? The little...
No, I can't remember. I can't remember. Pastor, I can look him up here in a little bit, but he is now in the truth. He now knows we the people of the book, and he distanced.
He broke
himself.
away.
He broke away, like truly broke away. Man,
there's a few. William Barber.
No, not William Barber. No.
Wesley.
No. Shoot, man. What is this? Not George Bloomer, not William Barber, not. Oh, man. I'm going to have to look him up. But.
James Dixon.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to have to look him up.
I
just came across a video and I'm going to look him up. But to answer your question, I've been knowing about Charlie Kirk for a few years, but the past 8 months to a year is really when I seen his rhetoric and his talking points, because he started really visiting colleges again and really going here and there and really started to really blow up. Because, like me and Ox say all the time, being on those college campuses, being the streamer with the streamer age, he is what helped got Donald Trump elected with that crowd, the 18-year-olds that can vote, that's went to college. That's why they voted in the millions, because of him. Okay. So this past election is really, like I said, this past year is when I really started to really get into what he was talking about.
Well, I had seen several TikToks with him sitting across from students at colleges, standing up, giving, public speeches, debating with students in college. The very first ones I saw were more surrounding homosexuals and transgender. But then I started to see some of the other stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I did not necessarily know his name because I'm just watching the video. It came across my feed, so I didn't know his name. So when you asked me that night if I had heard about it, I was like, well, who was that?
Right.
And then when I think the one thing you dropped, I was like, oh, that dude. So yeah. That's I can't say I didn't know
visually, but I didn't know his
exactly.
name. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the free speech, hate speech debate. So we're gonna pivot to one of his loudest talking points. So was he defending liberty, or was his rhetoric just hate dressed up as truth? This is a quote. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. That's a direct quote from Charlie Kirk. Let's be clear. In the U.S., there is no legal category called hate speech. Unlike some countries like Germany, Canada, or the UK, the U.S. does not have laws that criminalize speech, or at least they didn't, simply because it's offensive, hateful, or discriminatory. So from a legal standpoint, you technically cannot be prosecuted, or can you, just for saying something hateful, as long as it doesn't fall into another illegal category like threats, harassment, or incitement to violence. Now, for those of you who were unaware of who he was prior to his demise, you likely didn't feel a way about him, particularly other than a, wow, that's sad, ooh, I can't believe that happened, or whatever response you felt appropriate at that time. That being said, those of you who were aware of who Mr. Kirk was, were aware of his position on a plethora of topics, and I'm sure the range of emotions were vast. However you felt about it, we live in a country where we should be able to express our feelings one way or the other. Mr. Kirk was a huge supporter of the First Amendment, but as of today, a host of teachers, professors, employees of various types of companies have been fired, a student expelled, And you already mentioned it, Io. Jimmy Kimmel show being canceled indefinitely because they spoke unfavorably about Mr. Kirk. So does this now take us to a place in which we really need to view the current Constitution, because those rights we once held as true don't seem to be viable anymore? So again, I go back to my first question. Is it hate speech or was it truth? Was it dressed up truth for Mr. Kirk?
Go ahead.
What was his first quote that you read?
The very first one was hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment.
It's what?
Keep America free. It's protected by the
And
First
they
Amendment.
are making Charlie Kirk a martyr right now, right?
Yeah,
Am I correct?
pretty much.
They are upholding what he stood for. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
His values, his opinions, as they call them. So his opinion is there is no hate speech, just ugly speech. Ain't that what he said? And it's protected.
So it's not his opinion.
Huh?
Technically, it's not his opinion.
It's not his opinion, but he said that, which means that America, because they love him so much, that we should follow what it is that he said, is what I'm saying. So the question that I'm asking is, according to that quote that he said, how would he feel about Jimmy Kimmel being counseled for what it is that he said about him?
Right.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
Yes,
You see what I'm saying?
right.
If you're going to make this dude a martyr, which you are doing right before our very eyes, because he is what embodies America, then why is these teachers and these employees being fired for their opinion of what they said? Another thing he said is empathy don't exist.
That's what he said. He said it's a new term.
That's
Made
exactly what he
up
said.
term.
Made up term.
That's exactly what he said.
And that goes along with, like you said, the V word, that's very valuable. Values. What kind of Christian values do you have? And y'all say y'all follow Jesus.
Jesus.
But empathy is a made-up term, new made-up term. Then how do you say Jesus' greatest commandment was love thy
Come
neighbor?
on now.
Okay.
And it goes back to the value.
Make it make sense.
Now, hypocrisy is an actual value. That's heavy.
That's it. That's what the
it.
value is now.
That's the value. The value, because like Ox said before the show, this is not a Kirk bashing show. You don't want to see the way he went out. He left daughters and a wife. We don't celebrate that. But so saying that to say, like Ox said, let's go beyond him. Where did this start? It's cool to be a hypocrite because Kellyanne Conway sat in 2016, sat right up there on CNN and Fox News, and when she was asked a question, she said, well, we have now what we call alternative facts.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And that was the seed that birthed this kind of movement. Because now I don't have to come with a fact. I can make an opinion, spin it, hold it as a hypocritical value, and a million people follow me for it.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
And they got to prove what you said one way or the other.
And boy,
there are many of us still on social media to this day, on Facebook. And that's the one that I'm on mostly. And my wife could tell you, I come across something and I look at it, it just don't even look real, right? It looks strange, put it that way. It does look real, but it looks strange. And it'd be some of the most asinine saying about it, right? And I'd be like, and I reach it over there to her, be like, is this real? She'll look it up. Nah, it's fake. It's fake.
It's fake.
And these be articles, okay? And this is land backing off of what Ayo was just talking about. And this is where we are right now. They put these fake articles out on people, on issues, to create a reaction that are not true, because they know that we as the masses are so sheeple that we're not going to go fact check it. And what's so crazy about this, how many people be reposting these lies over and over and over, so the lie becomes a what to everybody? A truth.
The truth. And that's all Lucifer did. Was
That's all he did.
1/3 of the angels to follow, because the lie seemed truthful. They was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it's the same here. All I got to do is have like a lot of his talking points about black fathers. Bruh, I'm sorry, but when I was growing up, it was in my church, it was me, maybe 2 other boys that didn't have daddies. Everybody else was a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
Then when I got older, you know what I noticed? I said, there's a lot of these white boys that daddy and mama ain't together. But one of the 2025 talking points is black fathers not in homes. Now, do we have our issues? Absolutely. Nobody will. Yeah. Like I said, I grew up without a dad. So saying that to say, these talking points are moot. But like Ox said, if I can get 2 million people to like it and 100,000 people to share it and 30,000 comments, that lie or that moot talking point looks like the truth. That's all I got to do.
I got a question for you guys.
You out of order. This is not in line with the I'm teasing. You can have it.
When George Floyd was unalive, everybody had opinions. Everybody mama, everybody grandmama, everybody cousin, everybody auntie. It was talked about highly at work. It was talked about highly at churches. It was talked about highly on social media, on late night talk shows. What late night talk show host got canceled for talking about George Floyd?
Out of one.
Who do you know got fired for having a bad opinion about George Floyd?
Not a one.
What makes Charlie Kirk? What was Charlie Kirk a member of the Senate?
Nope.
Was he a member of the House?
Nope.
Was he any type of political figure?
Nope.
As far as officially in the government.
He made his living
self-made.
By what he was self-made. He made his living by what we doing right now, podcast.
So what makes Charlie Kirk his unaliving different from the unaliving of George Floyd to the point that if you say it, man, oh man, don't get me started.
George Floyd was a criminal. He was a criminal.
Don't get me started.
And listen, this is what Christianity has been looking for this for so long. This is what they've been waiting on. A young dude that's got no college education can go around the college campuses, debate people of color, and look right on these crazy talking points. Oh, he ain't got a degree, but people with a master's degree look crazy when he debated them. Oh, check. Oh, wow. He's saying this, he's saying that. So it's giving them that hope. So that's why they lifted him up. And to see him leave out of here like only one of us is supposed to leave out of here, that's what did it. It put them over the top, because the hope that they had as far as a Christian, as far as having Christian values. I grew up in Christianity. They used to call me church boy. They said, T know how to church it up. So if it's anybody that knew church, I knew church. I knew it. I was born and raised in it.
So here's the other thing to keep in mind with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, by the questions you asked, he was not a political figure in any kind of formal capacity, right? So he had the liberty to say whatever he wanted to say to whomever he wanted to say it to. Was he going to lose his job?
You are now
Absolutely not.
listening
He's
to
self-funded.
Truth
He had a
Be Told
billionaire
Podcast.
putting dollars in his pocket. So him putting the dollars in his pocket means I can say what I want to say. I have no fears about losing my job.
That's
Right?
hope.
And if you look at it, most of the time, the people that he debated were young, white college students.
So in all reality, according to what you just said, and we know that he was a college dropout, and it wasn't even a major university. He was a junior college dropout, right? I mean, he borderline sound like PWT to me. I'm just saying, right? He sound like he might be a DEI hire.
Listen.
Okay.
That's the hope that they had. It's like, okay, if I don't work out in college, look, the playing field is leveled now. They had to have somebody that's like, look, no longer is Bruz able to go to Alabama or UCLA and just, I'm glad just to be here and play, to get a scholarship, to get a degree. Them boys making $100,000 a month. Seth Trimble at UNC basketball just opened up a Ben and Jerry's from his NIL. So again, if I've squandered my grandfather's wealth and land, and if I drop out of college, I could just take the road to Charlie, drop out and be a podcaster and get a million Maccas behind me and start up another type of turning point. That's hope. That's what I'm saying. That's why they was like, okay, the 18.
This the thing though, because I agree with what you're saying 100%, but the road for Charlie was paved. Somebody saw Charlie. Somebody gave Charlie that opportunity that he had.
Of course.
If you think that Charlie started that foundation on his own, you out of your mind.
No, he was backed by a billionaire.
Back to Revelation chapter 13. The dragon gave the beast his power and his seat and his great authority. Charlie is a tool. And he's a tool. This go back to the original question that Banath asked about the First Amendment. Pam Bundy, she's under scrutiny right now because she was on a podcast and she got to talking about, I'm going to go after anybody who have anything negative to say about Charlie Kirk, right? Anything negative to say. No, so she had to backpedal that and say that the First Amendment is, is this, that, and we can't prosecute and blah, blah, blah. But they're using this dude, man, to bring in a authoritarian
state.
State.
Yep.
Everything that's happening before us, man. Look, I did not want to go here this quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Ezra chapter 6. I was reading it this morning, man. Ezra chapter 6. I'm going to go to... give me a second here. I'm going to start at verse 11. Ezra 6, verse 11.
Two Esdras or just one?
Two Esdras, my bad.
Okay, no, you good. I figured that.
Yeah.
I know that's your book.
Mm-hmm. Love this book, man. Two Esdras, verse 11.
Two Esdras 6:11. All right.
Mm-hmm. It said, and I answered and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee to show thy servant the end of thy tokens, right? Whereof thou showest me part last night. So he answered me and said, watch this, man. Watch what this angel tell Ezra. He says, stand up upon thy feet and hear a mighty sounding voice. He said, and it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not move. What we are hearing right now in real time, Ayo, Truth Be Told Flex Podcast family, we are hearing great motion. going all around us. That's what we hear.
Ooh.
Two people was found hanging on college campuses. Charlie Kirk murdered right before our eyes. Ahmaud Audrey ran over, beat, and then killed. George Floyd killed right before our eyes. All of this here is great motion. But he said, but
you,
the place where thou standest shall not be moved. What do Psalms chapter 1 say? Let's flip over here right quick, man.
on, man. I was just
Let's flip over here to Psalms chapter 1 right here. This is where our hope is at. Everybody else is talking about problems. We need to be talking about solutions. Why is my skin dry? Don't give me no medication to make the patches dry up. Tell me why it's dry so I can stop doing that and I won't have eczema no more, right? Psalms chapter 1, man. This is what he's saying. Is it 1? Yep, it's 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is where?
In the
In
law. Come on,
of the
man.
Most High.
Come on, man.
That he what? Meditate. If you meditating on the law, you ain't got time to be being moved by the loud voices that you hearing that he talked about over here in second Esdras. That's why the ground which you stand ain't gonna move. Why? Because you're gonna be like a tree that is planted by the rivers that shall not be moved. That's faith, homeboy.
That's faith.
I'm not letting these devils disturb my energy. My baby will tell you, boy, I'm big on keeping my peace, my energy. That's what we're going through right now.
What we're going through. And
that's what we're going through.
And real quick, to land back off of great scriptures you bring out, this is why there's 2 so-called young black freshmen at schools that was celebrating this man's death. And guess what happened? They got expelled. Us.
Yep.
So as elders, it's our duty to hopefully you watch this and heard what you just heard. So you go read that and say, you know what? I can't be moved.
Can't be moved,
I gotta
man.
be planted. I can't be making fun. I can't be, because this can happen. The death angel is riding. He's visiting the earth. He's here.
That's it.
This can happen at any moment. And this is not taken away from who dude was. Like I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, like Shur said, this book is for us. This is what when we cry out to our power, we won't be moved. He just said, meditate on the law day and night. You won't be moved.
Our argument is not going to be celebrating the unaliving of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Our argument on our side is bringing solutions because nobody else is bringing solutions. This is why, but not to answer your question, they are afraid of the First Amendment because they know the seed of Jacob is waking up and they crying out loud and they sparing not. We got to shut them Negroes up because they bring in solutions.
Right. They're bringing solutions. Their talking points are not the problem. So how do we shut these folks up from talking about our black fathers not being non-existent when they ask you, oh, so what have you done for black people? I've raised my family. I've kept my children out of jail. They went to college. They got jobs, and we alive. That's what I've done for black people.
That's my contribution.
That's my contribution. They love. That's what they get you. Well, what have you done for black people? You didn't build no business. My business is my family. I stay in my word. That's what I've done for so-called black folk. That's part of the solution.
So we're gonna circle back to the spiritual aspect of this in a minute. We're gonna do that after we have our Beyond Critical Race Theory. But this next topic, this was the hard one. This is the one that is gonna ruffle some feathers and raise the goosebumps. So, speaking of liberties, Kirk once made a bold claim about the cost of freedom under the Second Amendment. It's worth, unfortunately, to have several gun deaths every year so we can have a Second Amendment, right? That was his comment, or his quote. So let me take you here, and then we'll come back.
This is it. Yeah, is that fair to say? All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
So now let's finish that question that was asked. How many mass shootings in the last 10 years? Sure, what do you have for us?
That it's ironic that this is how he went out, and especially on that question. That first question he asked, how many trans? And he answered that quick. Too many.
And put the mic back down.
Why? Because he's not a trans. Right. That don't affect him, right? That don't affect him at all. But for him to ask, including gang violence, man, that was diabolical to me. That, you know what I'm saying? Because the problem, and Charlie Kirk knew this here, the problem wasn't really trans. The problem ain't us. We talking about that, right? When it comes to mass shootings and mass violence, the problem is not blacks from single parent homes and all of this here, man. It ain't even gang members. The problem by the numbers is people that look like Charlie Kirk. That's what the problem is, man. Look, he asked since the last 10 years, right? So from 1966, according to the Rockefeller Institute of Government Fact Sheets, right? And that's a document that lays out data of mass shootings. There has been 502 mass shootings in America. I thought it would have been more than that. 1,714 total fatalities, 4,371 total victims. Now, when you look at the characteristics of the perpetrators, this is what's interesting. This was the question that he asked, right? And what did Charlie want to do? He wanted to deflect. Why did he want to deflect? Because them people don't like to be held accountable for nothing. So let's deflect this, because these numbers he knew, right? The data shows that a staggering 95.3% of these mass shooters are male. And when you break it down by race, the largest group, 54.5% of them are white. This ain't about race baiting. This ain't about making one race look better than the other. This is simply about what the data shows. So if Charlie had answered the question the way that it was answered, Charlie would have put him and his entire race where? Under the gun. He couldn't do that.
Right.
He could not do that, man. They don't want no accountability on anything that they do. This is why you got a president that's at war with the Smithsonian Museum right now, right? This is why we got to have segments called Beyond Critical Race Theory, right? Because when we get to tell history, he tell us that any school that's teaching history and talking about slavery, this and the other, well, they're not going to be government funded anymore. Why? Because they don't want that accountability. You did it, stand on it. Y'all stole it. But they'll say, if they steal it, you know what they call it? Discovered. We discovered it.
I found that.
I found it.
Found it.
Right? That's what they'll say. They teaching kids in school that slavery really wasn't all of that bad. That's what they teaching
It
them.
was indentured servitude.
That's what they teaching them.
That's what they're teaching. Yep.
So he wanted to deflect it. No, the question was asked you, Charlie, how many mass shootings have there been in the last 10 years? Answer the question. Then we'll find out. And this is where I'm going, and I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to bring it to you. All right? Then you'll find out, like I said, we ain't the problem. Trans ain't the problem. Asians ain't the problem. Mexicans ain't the problem. We do have a problem in America. We had a mass shooting, a shooting at a school. We had a school shooting right after he got unalive. Guess what he looked like? He didn't look like me and you. He looked like Charlie Kirk. That's the problem.
Yep. And to land back real quick, because that was beautifully and eloquently put, because that's why he can't answer the question. And this is why we say accountability and responsibility is deflected and dodged. You know why? Because all of them that was at that university called themselves Mormons or Christians, right? So as a Christian, it's about their pledge of allegiance is to power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about. And at no point, even now that this has happened, you'll have some white Christians just like we was, something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he deflect that and throw it away and not really answer it? And why do we always have to bring them into it? Why can't we just do what they ask? Leave them alone.
Now.
Why can't we?
Come on now.
Because there's power. This is what Remick was trying to tell y'all in Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he was saying. This is why they got so upset, because they looked at that movie and was like, wow, this ain't alternative fact.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't nothing that somebody made up. Just like we studied him, somebody been studying us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what stung. That's what hit dogs holler. That's what hit. They was, that's why they got so upset. And when after this happened, and I've been praying and seeking, I said, oh, this is it. Christianity is white supremacy and is power. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's all it
That's
is.
all it is.
That's why you see he put the mic down. Too many.
Yep. Too many. That was easy to answer because he's not a trans.
And what did they do? Oh, they clap. Woo! Just like they had a football game.
Right.
And then the next question, he didn't even. Oh, gang violence.
Right. Including gang violence? No.
How do you?
No,
what do you mean? Bruh, like you just said about Pam Bundy, the sitting United States Attorney General, the highest lawyer, just like under the president, if the president is the biggest leader in the free world, then the United States Attorney General that sits under the president, guess what? She is the highest lawyer in the world. She is challenging the Second Amendment. This ain't the little local lawyer that you pay $150 to get your ticket. This is the sitting U.S. Attorney General. Think about
These
that.
are some strange times.
Strange times. And it's linked. They'll sit there and tell you. George Floyd, he can't be with Jesus. Breonna Taylor.
Man.
But they'll tell you that somebody else is. After all that rhetoric, that lets you know, like I said, Remick was trying to tell you in Sinners, it's just about power. That's what we serve. That's what we pray to. We pray to power, not us. We pray to our power.
Right.
But them folk, and that's why, that's what happened. And to answer that question, it is about power. It's about power.
100%. All right. So let's take a pause right here. We've touched on the guns, the laws, and the lives lost. Heavy stuff that sits right at the core of the ongoing struggles in this country. So it's time to zoom out, shift gears into our signature segment, Beyond Critical Race Theory, where we peel back the layers and go deeper than the headlines. So
one of our favorite segments of the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. where we step into our classroom and learn our past, present, and future. That's right. Let's dive in. Dive into what the world calls beyond critical race theory and what we call beyond critical race and culture facts. With no further ado, let's get it. All right. Thank y'all for that beautiful intro. But now I'm finna share it put together, man. I appreciate that. But yes, one of the favorite segments of the show, the Beyond Critical Race Theory, which is not alternative facts. This is critical race facts. These are facts. When we step into the classroom and learn, like Ox said, where they took out of the schools and won't teach our children, we step in the classroom and learn here. And today, we're going to continue our Never Forget series, aka On This Day. And today, on this day, September the 17th, 1923, this kind of goes hand in hand of what's going on right now. The NAACP protest after Pennsylvania mayor's threats forced so-called Black and Mexican residents to flee Pennsylvania. Check this out. September the 17th, 1923, the NAACP and the governor of Pennsylvania publicly denounced remarks by Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Mayor Joseph Caulfield, who had threatened so-called Black and Mexican migrants, telling them to leave town or, get this, here it is, what we've been talking about this whole show, telling them to leave town or risk violence. This thing goes back, y'all. This was a period of migration within the U.S. as many so-called African Americans began to move out of the South to the West and North, seeking work in industrial factories and refuge from the racial tension and violence and discrimination that was so prevalent in the South. Go figure. The so-called Black population of Johnstown, get this, had more than tripled over the course of a decade, growing from fewer than 500 people in 1910 to more than 1,600 in 1920. And the growth was continuing. The so-called Mexican immigrant community in Johnstown was a little smaller, but also growing, and many white residents resented both. How does this line up with today? This is crazy. When a so-called Black man unalived several law enforcement officers in a Johnstown shootout in August 1923, growing white intolerance toward the so-called Black newcomers came to a head. In late August, Mayor Joseph Caulfield publicly announced that all so-called Black and Mexican residents who had lived in Johnstown for fewer than 7 years had to leave town for, get this, their own safety, implying that they would be targeted with violence if they chose to stay. Later, criticized for his remarks, Mayor Caulfield defended his actions as justified. "We have been sitting on a bomb in this city. I feared an outbreak against the Negroes unless I acted quickly," he said. Many of the newcomers were bad people, including ex-convicts. That's what he said. The NAACP protested and urged Governor Gifford Pinchot to take action, while the Mexican embassy also pressured state officials to respond. On September the 18th, the governor sent the NAACP a telegram vowing that the whole power of the Commonwealth will be used, if necessary, to maintain constitutional rights in Johnstown. So the governor in NAACP was like, "Look, you a little mayor, you small potatoes. We ain't." So Mayor Caulfield then backtracked on his statements, claiming that he only meant to make a mere suggestion. But by that time, here's the thing, y'all. Listen to this. But by that time, over 2,000 families had fled in fear. No attempt was made to facilitate their return or compensate them for their losses. their losses. Such backlash against so-called African Americans and other non-white communities in the North from then became more prominent in the years following the Great Migration, during which demographic shifts brought latent tensions to the forefront. On this day, September the 17th, 1923, never forget the Great Migration.
It's been just been 102 years ago.
Ain't that's so recent for that? And again, look what's happening today. And when I seen that, I was like, there's no way to the date that this is happening in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was a state in the North that we was running from in the South and went right to it. Not from the governor, not from the president, but a little small town mayor was like, look, y'all got to get out of here or it's going to be consequence repercussions. And we fled. What you guys think?
What's wrong with them people, man?
I call no. When I be reading,
and
stuff,
I promise you, I'm not being funny. It's
I know.
What's wrong with them people? And so we talking power tonight too, right?
Yep.
And I was making the point that the dragon gave the beast this power in this seat, right? And I made the comment at the beginning of the show that Charlie Kirk was not the problem because he's not the problem. Trump is not the problem because he's not the problem. These are Trump, Charlie Kirk, and the trans issue that we got out and the economy. All of these are like what you want to call autoimmune deficiencies, man. You got a cough or you got a rash. I was making that correlation there earlier. You know what I'm saying? But there's a reason why you got a cough. There's a reason why you got an ash. There's a reason why you can't breathe. Find out what that reason is and you will eradicate it, right? The world that we live in is a lot like the hospitals and big pharma, which is we don't want you to find out what the problem is. Sure, take this medication for that eczema. But now when you take it, I'm going to tell you that you might have suicidal thoughts. But we gonna clear your skin up, okay? You might stay up for 4 days straight, you know what I'm saying? But your skin is gonna be clear, okay? Right? So everything that I just called out have something above them to give them power. Watch where I'm going. Listen to this beyond critical race theory that the man just brought out. We was brought over here powerless. We have been over here powerless. We're still here powerless. The government have given power to Asians. The government is giving power to trans and gays and everything else. They have created stuff to give power to. But guess what? We are a nation that is what? Undesired. Everywhere we go, don't matter who we go up under, we are undesired. That's what the Most High said to us too in Ezekiel. He said, look, man, nobody wanted y'all.
Nobody wanted y'all.
I'm the one that called you and I said, what? Live. I gave you everything. And then after I gave it to you, you got too big-headed and you decided that you wanted to go chase every other god up under every other tree. So now this is the situation that we're in. Come here. Yeah, y'all better get up out of here because if you don't, it's going to be
it's going to be trouble. That's
what it's going to be trouble. And wherever we go, it's like that. Why? Because we have no one to give us power but our power. What do we say in 2 Chronicles? If my people
called by my name,
who are called by my name, who are called by my name, will humble themselves.
That's the issue right there. We, like you just said, we won't humble ourselves, and we love our idols too much.
We love them too much.
We love our idols too much, man.
Most
High said, y'all go horn after idols. You rejected me as king, and I wanted you.
Come on now. Nobody else wanted you.
Nobody else wanted you.
We love our idols and our flesh.
And our flesh. Con. Big con.
Good, great.
Big con.
All right.
Man.
So we're going to switch it up a little bit. The man, Charlie Kirk, called himself a Christian, but many argue his words and actions painted a very different picture. So the question is, when did the church shift from Christ-like love to endorsing division? He coined himself a Christian, but his rhetoric was exclusion and divisive. It was the antithesis of Christ-like. So, Ayo, what information do you have for us on this?
Like I said, it's always been like this. At no point in history has there been Christianity and supremacy. They both went hand in hand. We just didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it looked like because we were in the darkness. If thine eye be single, if the light in you be darkness, how great is the darkness? So while we were carrying around the light the whole time, and the Most High was just like, it ain't time yet. He ain't ready. See, 2008, that's when I started to realize something is not right. Something's not right. How is it that we serve the same God? We pray to the same Jesus. And because of this, when I walk into a certain church, I get stared at. What is this? But see, before that, when you was in your teens and a little child, you didn't understand the power behind it. You didn't understand, like Jamil just put, these people think these curses ain't real. See, when you read the curses in Deuteronomy, you didn't know it was talking directly to you. You didn't understand it. You just thought, whoa, as a whole, it's Christians. But then you started saying, well, Christians is a new word. That wasn't what they was using in Deuteronomy. So again, you said, so wait a minute, something's not right. So to answer your question, this has always been Christianity. Unfortunately. So the king of Spain and the queen of Spain were praising God as they slaughtered Native Americans. Think about that, man. What isn't Joel a boy for a harlot for a boy? I
find it for you.
Yeah, Joel. That is their only belief system, power. Again, we're talking about power. That is their only concern. On this podcast, we've been trying to tell y'all that. Other podcasts, some of our brew podcasts, the Houston Brew, he talks about this. Shouts out to him and a few other of Hebrew podcasts that be trying to really bring our people to what we were in and what we are now, and to really show the distinction and the dichotomy of what we were in, and whether it was Seventh-day Adventist, whether it was Mormon, whether it was just Pentecostal, whether it was Church of God, Church of Christ, we was in it. But now waking up, now we can look back and see what sis just asked and be like, dang, where's the difference? This man is getting martyred, and look at the rhetoric, and we're just saying to either we mourn or be okay with it. How is that? How is that? That is crazy. Joel 3:3, and they have cast lots for my people and given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. That the writer Joel wasn't just writing. And see, Paul John the Revelator seen this in Revelation. He was like, man, what is this chaos I see? What is that? He didn't know what it was. What is this chaos in the future? What do I see? Scorpion tails, and what is this? What is our people gonna be going through? They're gonna flip this Christianity on their heads and make them accept this God and pray to the same God, while at the same time using it for power and control. But they're gonna wake up in the land of their captivity. So here we are. And to answer your question, sis, again, to me, and well, to a lot of people, it's always been the same. There's never been a distinction. It's always been that. It's always been there. And again, Joel will tell you, you can go to Revelation, you can go to different books, Obadiah, Amos, it tells you. Charlie Kirk is the new Tammuz. Weeping for Tammuz. He Tammuz.
Excellent point.
He is Tammuz. That hit me yesterday. I was like, man. And I've been dealing with this.
George Floyd was as well.
Weeping for Tammuz.
Floyd was as well.
Look at this stuff, man. And this is what I'm saying. This is why at this time I put out the song a few months ago. Those that wait on the Most High don't faint. If we stay sober and wait, I think it's in Galatians where it talks about that. We can't faint. We can't get weary and faint.
Right.
And a lot of us right now, like I said, 20 years ago, if we were seeing this, man, we'll be like, oh, Abba, please come get us. I mean, we are like that now, but we have the strength to carry on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I hope that answered y'all question. I hope that kind of solidified that it's nothing different about it. It's always been about power and control. It's always there's nothing that you can't separate the good and the evil in it. It's kind of intertwined and it's hard to separate them. We were just told to deal with it.
I think that the love message of Christianity has destroyed us as a people.
Yep.
Because it has dociled us so much. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 4, the Most High said, I will choose their delusions and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer, and when I spoke, they did not hear, but they did evil before my eyes and chose that in which I delighted not. I will choose their delusions, man. I don't care what nobody say. Now, understand this, Christianity has been a lifeline for a lot of our people.
Absolutely.
We talk about this on this show.
Absolutely.
Right, man.
Absolutely.
I was out there in that world doing my thing. My mama didn't have nobody else but Jesus to pray to, because she didn't know nobody else. And I believe that her praying to that Jesus and my power, whom I know today, who is the father of Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, winked at her ignorance.
Yep.
And I'm able to be here today talking this talk, right? Because everything is in a season. Watermelons don't grow in the wintertime. They come in their season. And this generation of us waking up, Ayob and myself, Jamil the Trunk Router, Houston the Brew, DJ JOL, all of the brews that we know, this is the season for us to wake up. It wasn't during the generation or the season of our parents. And so our parents, they went off of what they knew and what they was taught, which was you pray to this Jesus and this Jesus will protect you. And that's what the Most High did, right? But the delusion is Christianity, and I don't care what nobody say.
That's what I said.
The delusion was Christianity. So now we so webbed up in, you got to understand what a delusion is. We talked about a lie becoming a truth. That's exactly what Christianity is. And it's so much of a truth that only the Ruach can pull you out of that.
That's the only thing that can do it.
So all of us here, me, Shia, Yeshub, Judah, Remnant shall come, Ayob, Ben Yahoo, Houston the Brew, all of us, man, that was the Ruach that pulled us out of that strong delusion.
Yeah.
But many of us stopped when we came out of it, and we got big-headed, not realizing that the same Ruach that pulled us out, we got to keep walking with them to continue to grow. But this is where this thing is supposed to backfire on these people, but not to answer your question with Christianity. I've seen it today for myself. Negroes leaving that church. You know why?
Dave.
Because them pastors getting up there talking about you got to empathize.
That's it.
So if they leave, right? Hey, Hey, you don't eat ice cream no more? That's okay. This chick over here, she know how to take your fruit and puree that thing real good and then freeze it and put a stick in it. Now you got a full fruit popsicle. In other words, if you leave something, you got to have something to replace it with. And guess what? How many family members have you told the truth to and they went right back to Jesus?
Oh man. Yes.
How many friends have you talked to but not, and they went right back to Jesus? But now they getting tired of these pastors lying to them, talking about you gotta love these people. You gotta love these people who hate you because that's what Jesus want to do. Negro said, I don't want that Jesus no more.
There's got to be somebody that understands.
This is our chance.
And this is where we have to be the light.
This is where we have to be the light.
Y'all listen, for real, we can't be entertainers. We shouldn't have been doing it from the jump, but now it's the time to say, okay, I renounce entertaining and performing, because what do you do from a performance? You get tired.
Right.
And that's what the so-called Black Christians are. They're tired of the performance, the theatrics, and they're saying it's got to be something more with meat, just like we did. And of course, this past week, you know how many people were squirming in those pews this Sunday?
Man,
I could not imagine being in one of those pews that heard the choir sing, praise team that brought great praise and worship, and the pastor get up there and tell you that you gotta empathize.
Say what?
Boy, listen, man. Again, we gotta be the light. And look how the world can be looking at us right now.
What?
Yes. How are we being viewed as the light? Oh, they the light? They do the same thing we do. They get awards for songs and podcasts and all this stuff. See what I'm saying? And I'm not, I ain't knocking you. Do what you do. I'm just saying. Take a look at that. Because Matthew 24, Mashiach said they were marrying, giving and marrying. They were partying. Until what? Until that day that Noah shut up the ark. And then Joshua tells you on the detail, 700,000 people showed up and said, we was wrong. We'll return to y'all. And Noah was like, sorry. Too late.
All right. So finally, let's land here. The movement after the man. So I don't know if y'all heard they're talking about creating a holiday for him. Had y'all heard that one?
That's my first hearing about that.
About creating a holiday for him. So Kirk frequently promoted the Great Replacement Theory, a white nationalist idea suggesting that demographic changes are part of an intentional plot, to diminish white influence. He referred to this as a strategy to replace white rural America with something different, labeling it not as a theory, but a reality. So in 2021, Kirk proposed that Texas should deputize a citizen force and put them on the border to protect white demographics in America, further emphasizing his commitment to preserving what he perceived as the nation's racial identity. That's the nation's racial identity. This big melting pot. That's what he called it. So now let's get into something a little deeper. So his views on race, specifically what's been called the Great Replacement Theory. For those who aren't familiar, we talked about this as the nationalist idea suggesting that the demographic changes in America are part of an intentional plan to reduce white influence. Unsurprisingly, this has sparked some backlash, of course. Critics called him out for promoting racist and divisive rhetoric, while his supporters leaned on the free speech, saying he was merely expressing his beliefs. So at this point, with the Charlie, the movement, just how dangerous is this? How does this rhetoric shape his followers? And does it play into a wider political and social tensions that we currently have going on right now? I know we've talked about they're trying to bait us in and, the race war brewing, but I don't know if you heard his wife's speech.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have some other feelings about her speech I'm not going to express on here. But if you did not hear his wife's speech, she's putting out a call to action.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they are responding
Yeah.
swiftly.
Yeah.
Swiftly. So how dangerous do you think this next move is going to be?
I believe that Charlie Kirk was a weapon, man.
Yep.
He was created to be a weapon, and they have realized that he could be more of an effective weapon now that he is dead. This is why, now that he has been unalive. This is why they are trying to make him a martyr. He built an army, man. He was going to, that was his whole purpose of going to all of these different campuses, was to build an army of the next generation. We talk about it all the time on this show, how the elite, or the unseen hand is what we can call them. How whenever they want to start putting things in motion, what do? They put them in motion by using the generation that is to come. They did it with us in the 90s, right? They did it. They doing it now right before our eyes. You look at these Negroes out here, they so soft, they so feminine. You got these women nowadays that's not wanting to be women. Me, my wife, and my daughter was talking about how there's going to be so many embarrassed grandkids 15, 20 years from now when they see the pictures of their grandmothers on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, right? This is an agenda. His agenda was to create this army on what it is that you're talking about, man. And he is going to be dangerous, man. And his wife, Ayob, said it before the show. He was, and I didn't know anything about this. He was offered money by Israel.
150 mil.
He turned it down. Am I correct?
He turned it down.
Hey, the Messiah was offered power of all the kingdoms in the world. He turned it down. But there was a group of people that took that and they run in the world now. The Job 9 and 28 are the ones that took that offer. Listen to what Ayob also had to say. All praises. We was talking about this. His wife took that, and I believe it. Yeah. And this is why she is talking the rhetoric that she is talking. And what she is doing is you understand how impressionable young kids are? And this generation, when they latch on to something, they latch on to it hard. They latch on to it hard. So we're looking at the next generation of leaders and the mind state that Charlie Kirk have already imprinted in them. He laid seeds in them. So this movement that she says need to continue, J.D. Vance said need to continue, it's going to continue. So the question that I ask is, where did that put us? Not us, because we good.
Right.
See, the ground is not moving. We hear the noise, but our ground ain't moving. But us collectively as a people, where does that put us?
Right.
I think it's going to shake some people in the right direction. The stuff that they were hearing, that the seed didn't necessarily fully germinate for them. The seed was still planted. Now that seed is going to start to take a little root for some of these people.
That's it. And to land back off of what my take on this is where we have to stay foundational. This is the power that the seeds he's planting in them. If it takes $20,000 to start a Turning Point USA chapter, as his wife was speaking, you're going to see them all over the United States in the next 6 to 8 months in every state, 3 or 4 or 5 chapters. Raleigh, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Los Angeles. You will see them everywhere. And what that does is give them the theological, the political, and the historical aspect, because if I'm 22 and I'm graduating college, but if the playing field is leveled, what do I have to go to? Black
That's
football
right.
players is getting NILs and able to create businesses
right.
and don't have to go to the NFL.
That's right.
So I need something, I need a seed to plant and to catapult what we had years ago in the industrial revolution, the steam, electrical, and the technology. And this is where it started. Check this out real quick. Go back to England in the 1600s. At this time in history, what do we have? We have a major conflict between the British belief and the king. The king was head of the Anglican Church, which was the official church of England. There's no difference between the Anglican Church, Anglo-Saxons, and the Catholic Church. The only difference is what? The Catholic Church has the Pope. In the Anglican Church, the head is the King of England. That's the only difference. In terms of rituals, belief, it's the same. Remember, theological, political, and historical. Now, here comes people called Protestants, the protesters, the Martin Luthers, who believe there should be no Pope and there should be no king, that you should be able to read the Bible and get to God. And you do that by reading the Bible. So at that time in history, the major conflict between the Protestants and the Puritans, or the dissenters and the king, it led to what? Wars. This what we going back to. Inquisitions. So basically, the king got tired of it. Say, oh, if you want to be here, guess what? Go to America. There's a land. Remember what we talked about, Ark? And my wife attested this. The paper bull, Inter Caetera, 1452. The Pope himself signed papers, said Christopher Columbus, Ferdinand Magellan, we're gonna get with Ferdinand, King of Spain, and you're gonna travel, get on this water, and we're gonna create maritime laws, because you're gonna be a long time in this water. If you find any land, and if any people on that land you find, you can enslave them, and you have that land, take their land, do what you got to do, and write us back and let us know. So the king was like, all right, go to America, way over there, far from here, if you don't want to be over here. Guess who that was? That was the Pilgrims. So guess what the Pilgrims did? Come over here and slaughter the Native American. You see where I'm going? This is what Kirk is giving back to them. He's giving that back. What did they start in Arkansas? Return to the land. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to return back to the roots where the wars came to power. That's what it's about. He's giving them their power back. Don't worry about NIL deals. If TR or Ayob ain't got to graduate from UCLA and go to NFL, he can start his own business. Guess what? Don't worry about that. Drop out and start you a Turning Point chapter. That's their power. There it is.
That's why this great replacement is so profound for them.
There you go.
They are terrified at this point.
There you go.
We've talked about it on the show before. A lot of the laws that they've implemented, specifically around unaliving children, it had nothing to do with protecting children. That was more about protecting their legacy. They don't care about women having procedures to unalive their unborn children.
They don't care about
what they cared about was their numbers. That's what it was about. So this whole great replacement, they have a serious fear that their numbers are dwindling significantly, and they're not going to have a foothold anymore.
Right. Hey. So Kirk was the weapon, like Ox said. We got to figure out a way, since our numbers dwindling, and if we're going to be the minority in 2050, then this minority is going to have the theological, the political, and the historical prowess to rule again. Because we're going to be the minority. I'm telling you, this thing is deeper. Like what Ox said at the start of the show, it's deeper than my man. It's deeper than Cuz.
Yeah.
Not my man, but you tell me, you know what I mean.
Look at all the rights. Look at all the rights they taking away. They cherry picking them right away. We handing some of them over, like willingly. Oh, here you go. We don't need that. Oh, here you go. Yeah. You guys can take that from us. And then the other ones, they coming in and just snatching.
Right. That's it. Cause you go to Maccabees, if I'm correct, and like I said, we don't call him the Great. We call him the Greek. Alexander the Greek. You don't think they'd read this stuff and be like, "Oh, we got
Come on
to get
now.
some get back from the way he got put up out of here."
This is how they built it to begin with.
Again, theological, historical, and the political. They go back to the King of England. That's how the Pilgrims got here, because there was a war. There was conflict between King, the Pope, and the Protestants. Then the Puritans dropped off from the Protestants. They became a sect out of the Protestants. And the king was like, well, like I said, if you don't like it, go to America. There's a place they found called America. It's way far away. You can go over there and take the land, like the Pope said. Leave up out of here. And they did.
Well, before we wrap up, any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, man, what Ayo was talking about a while ago is so deep.
That's a whole nother
This
show.
is a spiritual, this is a spiritual warfare, man, and it just hit me as he was talking that these are gods fighting against our power. That's what's happening, because it's the fear that Charlie Kirk is putting in these people, the fear of them being replaced. Now, understand that they know our script. Psalms 83 says, keep not thou silent, O Most High, and hold not thy peace, be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee. See, they hate our power. So if they are afraid of being replaced, that's because they know that the end of this kingdom is Esau and the beginning of the next is Jacob. They ain't afraid of being physically replaced. They are afraid of being spiritually replaced, because they know that our power is on our way to come back and redeem us, man. They building the same way the Most High is building an army for him. They building an army as well to fight. You better go back and read 2 Esdras 13.
Right. That 2 Esdras, boy.
You better go back and read 2 Esdras 13. So he creating a fear in these people that they gonna be replaced. What we gonna do with them, man? What we gonna send them? We gonna put all of them on the boat and take them to Madagascar? Huh?
Come on, bro.
They done already said we can't beat them in a race war if it pop off, because we shoot guns like this and we don't know how to shoot them, right? So what we gonna do with them? It's not us that they're afraid of, Aki.
It's our power. They know it.
They know it, man.
They're holding on to whatever they can.
They know it, man.
That's what I'm saying. And they, like Ox said a little while ago, that the shift in the spirit, and now that shift in the spirit has made it here, and the earth is rumbling, it's in travail. And why they so steadfast? They still after slavery and Jim Crow, and Kirk himself said civil rights movement was a bad thing. So after civil rights and George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, they still not moved, and we over here going through it. That's what they saying. And that was Galatians 6:9 earlier. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
If we faint not, they go back to that 2 Esdras, man. Hey, the ground up under you, it is not going to move.
Don't faint. Don't be moved. I know.
Don't get weak.
If we don't get support for our artistry and music and podcast and platforms, I know if people don't share, I know if people don't gravitate to our music, just keep going. Don't faint.
Just keep going.
Don't faint. Keep going, because your resistance drops. Now I'm telling you, you may not see the support or the true recognition, but in due time, in due season, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, our power's on the way. I'm telling you,
he is on his way, man.
He's on the way.
He is on his way. Yeah. This has been a good one, man. A real spiritual feel episode as well.
See, you can talk about this stuff and not do no bashing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can be done.
Yeah, exactly. I told my wife the other day that Racism is a part of America.
Indeed it
It
is.
was started on racism. It's going through racism. It's going to end. There's no way that you can separate one from the other. What was the analogy that I used, baby? That you can't take the spots off of a leopard.
You can't.
It ceased to be a leopard.
Right.
So if you take racism out of America,
Yes.
guess what? It ceased to be America.
Same thing with the church.
So there's no reason for us to get bent out of shape, man.
No.
It's gonna be 10 more Charlie Kirks. I can promise you that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna
this
be
ain't the
a lot.
last one for sure.
It's gonna be 10 more.
man.
Charlie Kirk is the white man Malcolm X. He
I'm
talking the
listening.
same thing that Malcolm was preaching to us to them. And Malcolm was a problem, but he is a hero.
Yes. Then listen, the time when we say, when the word says perilous times, y'all, it's like I said, man, we gotta be focused on winning souls, like for real. Like I keep stressing it, and I know it's tough when you're not recognized for this.
My wife just done distracted me, man.
I know it just. Let me find out.
Let me find out.
Let me find out.
I gotta keep pulling myself back in, but yeah.
But yeah, man, all praises. It was a great show. This was good.
Yo, I love you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. I love you as well, brother.
Peace
Appreciate
in the
you,
brew.
sis.
Hundo Alatunde.
Yeah.
Jamil the Trunk Rattler.
Yeah.
Shaka Boom 90.
Yeah.
I see some.
80. Shaka Boom,
Oh,
80.
it's right. My bad.
He
Wrong.
can't see.
Yeah, a whole
I told
decade
y'all
out.
he can't see.
My
Yo.
baby wasn't born in 1990. That'll make oh Lord.
Oh,
I did.
Jesus. So, with that being said, and that's a wrap for tonight's episode. We've unpacked some heavy stuff. Remember, folks, these stories aren't just headlines, they're reflections of the world we live in. And it's up to us to stay informed, stay vigilant, and protect our own truth along the way. From all of us here at the show, thanks for tuning in. And with that being said,
Let me